But first, it's our final play from the Gothic Imagination, The Winter House by Rebecca Lenkiewicz. Annette Crosbie stars in the disquieting story of Madeleine, an elderly woman whose life is overtaken by dark dreams when she hears a mysterious voice outside the window of her room.
The Winter House was a care home. There was very little care, in fact, but it was isolated, which suited me. I smoked out of the window. My cigarette ends joined the few tiled shrubs 40 foot below. The garden. Nurse Baird would caution me. I, in turn, would plead amnesia. I claimed with each new day to have forgotten the house rules. She didn't believe me. What could she do? Throw me out of the 3rd floor in my wheelchair? The routine was bearable. I had a friend, or more accurately an acolyte, a diminished old thing called Francis. Beaten at school, I expect. Bullied. Possibly at home, too. A young carer, Mary, rather fascinated me. Nigerian, invariably silent. There was a new nurse, Sister Payne. Her face looked familiar. I felt a curious sadness from her. Her uniform was not as heavily ironed as Nurse Baird's. Christmas Eve I felt especially restless. My efforts at sleep were more drastic than usual. I took my routine electric pink cocktail, a tiny plastic measure fit for a doll, but I had become immune to its effect. So I tried the usual tricks to float off. Tried to find a rhythmic lulling in the wheels of the medication trolley. But then a voice. It came from outside. I was paralyzed by something between fear and longing. I was crying, an unfamiliar sensation. Hot tears. The face feels more like a landscape when lying down. Tears ran down my cheeks and into my neck and doused the pillow. Then a palpable touch. Somebody was stroking my throat. A child's hand. Inquisitive. Not hurting me, but just exploring. I reached out and rang the night bell. Mary? Mary?
Miss Howard, what is it?
I heard a child singing in the garden.
No, miss. Why would a child be there?
Look, please.
I am looking. There are no children.
Where are yours?
Mine? They are not here.
Where are they?
3 are in Nigeria. They will come here at some time. The eldest is with me.
Perhaps it was her.
No, miss. She stays with her auntie in London.
You heard nothing?
Was the radio on?
No. Get me into my chair, would you?
It's very late.
Please. I need to see for myself. Silently, she helped me into my wheelchair and pushed me to the window.
You see? Empty. Just snow.
You can leave me now. I want to keep watch.
Yes, Miss Howard.
Do you miss them? Your children?
Of course.
And she was gone. I surveyed the garden. No movement, no sound. I fell asleep in my pram. No dreams. Just the usual jolt when I woke, the daily shock that I can no longer walk. Nurse Payne came to my room before breakfast. The smell of bleach was stronger that day. It was still dark. The strip light, it needs replacing.
Yes, it's broken.
It's rather early for a visit.
Is it? I didn't know how they do things here. Shall I come back later?
No.
I used to stay up all night.
You suffer from insomnia too?
No. I meant to stay up. I liked it.
Ah. So, what have you got for me there?
Pills? I don't really think our medicine works.
Oh.
I don't mean a specific drug, just that the mind is the real healer. I'm supposed to ask you these questions, this list, to get to know you. You say yes or no, and I fill in the box.
Right.
Do you like it here?
It seems to keep people alive. It's all quite adequate.
So is that a yes in the box?
It's a no.
No.
Have we met before?
Before? Where would we have met?
Nowhere.
Do you have visitors?
No, no one.
Family? Do you have family?
Who are you?
I'm Nurse Payne. How is your eyesight?
Not great.
You've cataracts.
Yes.
We've exactly the same colour eyes.
We did. She looked at me, then away, then she left. That night I felt terribly low, confused. I kept looking down into the garden, but there was no movement, nothing. The cherry tree looked desolate, black against the snow. I tried to read, but the words were just floating on the page, moving about like tiny spiders. I blinked, and I rang the buzzer. No one responded. I could always go to the kitchen and make toast. That was a secret comfort. Prohibited, of course, which added to the pleasure of the visit. I had an unusual urge for company. I decided to try and find Mary's room. I wheeled myself down to the east wing and took a lift down to the basement. Mary had always complained of the many stairs she had to climb to get to us. The basement felt truly subterranean, a slight smell of damp. It looked like there was just one proper room at the end of the corridor. Everything else was cupboards. Mary's door was a dark maroon. I could hear a wireless in the room, African voices. There was a word in red crayon upon the yellow-painted wall. Knee hurting. A child's writing. I knocked.
Who is there?
Madeline Harwood.
What are you doing here?
My light broke. It needs to be replaced.
It is not my shift. You should not be down here.
I'm sorry. Can I come in?
What?
Can I come in for a minute?
I have no chairs.
It's not a problem in my case, is it?
There is a step.
Mary negotiated me and the chair down the step. What met me was quite shocking. Not the content. A few African mats on the walls, various photos, a crucifix, a short pink nightie. No, it was the size that struck me. An 8-year-old would feel thwarted by this box room. This is where you live?
One night a week I am in Brixton with my eldest daughter. Would you like some tea?
And she made us tea upon a little cooking ring, and we sat and talked of her daughter and of her hometown.
What is your first name?
Madeline.
Madeline. It's nice.
The room smelt of cocoa butter, and it was warm, but not cloying. It was the nicest tea. It tasted like it did when we went camping as children. Mary took me back to my room, and strangely I slept. 7 hours, a personal record. Frances came to my room the next evening. She refused to wear a hearing aid, so her hearing was selective. Mary folded down the bedding while we chatted.
The problem always seems to be money, Madeline. Ghastly money. I know, people say health is the thing, but I disagree. Without money, one dies.
Oh, come on, Francis. The starvation rate is negligible in Britain.
Things, though. Clothes. Essentials. One can't walk around naked. Look at that poor chap who did. Imprisoned.
You want to get rich? You have to kill someone. It's a fact.
Whatever do you mean, Mary?
What I say. A life for a fortune.
This is more of your juju.
It's the truth.
But you're a Christian. How do you square that with voodoo?
Jesus is real. Juju is real. They both exist.
How do you get the money, Mary?
You find someone. Anyone. Then you meet with the juju man. He tells you when to kill a person and where, and then he meets you after you have done it.
He basically aids one in a robbery.
No, it can be a child, an old person. The money comes from juju, not the victim. So you kill them, tie them up so they are standing in a wardrobe or a large cabinet. Then you cut off their head and put that on a table in a separate room.
Extraordinary.
You put a basket over it, a calabash. Then you say the dead person's name over and over. You repeat it and repeat it.
So one would say Madeline, Madeline.
Oh, Francis.
Yes. And the juju man will come and he will fill the basket with money. He crams money in around the head. I'm finished.
Do stay a moment.
I can't. I am late with these bets.
But really, you honestly believe it?
Of course. There are conditions. For instance, this money you gain, you must spend it all in just one day. And only on yourself. Nothing for your family or friends, even if they are dying. So these boys you see, the young men with their big cars in the villages and the gold hanging off their wrists and round their necks, where do you think they got their money from? Overnight. They got it from the juju man.
And with that, Mary left us to our individual silences. I pleaded fatigue and Frances went back to her room to reread another Inspector Maigret. I put on the wireless and pondered the night to come. It was always switched onto Radio 3, but it must have shifted. Snakes and potions whirred in my mind, and I felt myself sweating. Now I was in the kitchen. I didn't remember how I got there, only that I was hungry. I could have devoured a huge roast meal or some sort of animal in gravy. The industrial kitchen had a blue halo neon light. I stared at the formica table. It was big enough for an autopsy. Usually it was scrubbed and empty, but now there was a sackcloth bag on it. It was tied at the top with a thin yellow ribbon. The bag looked empty, except for something at its base. It was round, inert. There was a dark, wet liquid seeping through the bottom. I tried to get up from my chair to walk towards it. I had forgotten I was crippled. The main smell now came from the sack. It was butcher's shop and manure mixed together. And now I got up and ran from the kitchen, fast, strong, so good to be running again. And then I was back in bed. My wheelchair stared over at me. My legs were as lifeless as ever. I was about to buzz for Mary when I heard something. I lay still and hoped that she would go away. I couldn't sleep, and I hadn't the strength to even lift my arm for help. Then I must have fallen into a deep sleep. The next day, Mary came in to change my sheets. Mary, I want your advice.
Sister Bed needs me in the television lounge.
Does Juju ever deal with people who are haunted?
Haunted?
There is a spirit, and she won't leave me. Do you know what I should do?
Do you feel like it's a curse? That someone has sent this person to you?
No. I Yeah, this is ridiculous.
What do you feel?
That she is coming to me of her own accord.
What type of spirit? A woman?
No, a child. A girl.
You knew her?
I don't know.
She will want to get in very badly if she died as a child.
I don't know that she died as a child. I don't know for certain that she's dead.
She will come to you at the age that she died.
How do you know that?
She went before her time. That is why she is coming to you. She may have died many years ago. Sometimes it takes them that long to find you. But she has been looking.
And suddenly I felt sick. My arm hurt, ached, shook. I wanted to faint.
Miss Howard?
Get away from the world somehow. I needed to crash headlong from a cliff.
Miss Howard? Can you hear me? Miss Howard, can you see my hand? Do you know where you are?
I'm in no place that anyone ever ought to go to.
Oh, nurse bed! Nurse bed, sister! Sister, come quick! Come quick!
I have had some sort of stroke. At present I am what has been described to me as locked in. But my mind is intact. It wanders, hugely, and what used to be a simple thought is now usually a swathe of emotion instead. I had to spend a few weeks at the hospital. I had no visitors. The child, she did not come to me. I am reinstated now, in my room. But something has shifted. Instead of fearing the girl, I ache for her return, for her cold body to come in from the cold. Over weeks, I made what they described as a miraculous recovery. No speech, but I could move again. I could even get myself into my chair and wheel about a bit. One night, I decided that I was strong enough to go down to Mary's room. I waited until Baird and her crowd were back in their night mode. Somehow I felt that Mary would know what it all meant. I wheeled myself to the lift and started towards Mary's room.
I knew you would come tonight. I have spoken to her. To the child. Hey. You should have told me all of the story. No. Don't cry. No, don't. You must be the adult. Let her be the young one. A child comes back to free you.
She whispered close to me, and I smelt brandy upon her breath. Her sweat was pure alcohol. She reeled as she put some water on to boil and took out a prayer book and beads, a feather, a stone, a torn page from a magazine, and some small bags of powder. One was red, another ochre, and the last yellow. They looked like crushed pigment. What I thought had been water for tea, she poured into 3 small bowls and mixed with the powders. Now she acted as though I was not in the room. I felt wonderfully invisible, almost dead. Mary half closed her eyes and made sounds as she looked at the different objects and felt them. Then she put her finger into the red paint and put a dot upon each of my earlobes. A second finger dabbed into the yellow for a line under each of my eyes. The ochre was for my cheeks. Now she looked around the tiny space and found a round, magnifying shaving mirror. She held it in front of me. Her voice had lost all of its warmth.
You like it? Suits you, no?
I just stared at her. She knew I couldn't reply. I could have nodded, but the apparition that looked back at me in the mirror was terrifying. My face, but not my face.
What? You don't like my work?
I made a gesture with my head and hand to say that I wanted to leave now.
I'll push you here. I'll push you there. But I have not finished yet. You are not the only one who has been pushed.
She dabbed her finger back into the red. She looked at me straight and held her blooded finger towards my neck.
You want something from me? A present? People gave me presents before. Men. Old men. In exchange for what I gave them. Where was God in these rooms? Where was he? He did not exist then.
I nodded, trying to be understanding. I touched her hand.
Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. I touch all of your bodies. Their bodies. I have seen enough skin for all of my life. Don't you dare touch me. I have not finished with you yet.
She looked at me and painted a red line across my neck and walked behind me to complete the circle. I signalled to leave again.
You don't like to be here? In a small space? I did not like it either. Away from my mother. Just to be laid upon.
I offered no attempt at comfort, but then Mary broke down, completely, and I reached for her hand and I held it as she shook and shook. Presently, Mary went to bed. She had forgotten that I needed wheeling, tending. It was the first time in decades that I had spent a night with another living creature. I didn't want to be found here, for Mary to be sacked. I was just planning how to reach the small saucepan. I would throw it on Mary when I stopped. The door opened slowly. I waited to see the child. But instead, Nurse Payne was stood there. Not in her uniform, but in a pink baby doll nightie. She came in and turned me around and out into the corridor. In the lift, I looked at her properly. Her eyes were a different colour now. Green. The next day I waited for Nurse Payne's visit with pills. Instead, Frances appeared.
Baird is going mad. Shouting and throwing things out the door. She chucked Nurse Payne out. No one knows why. Only that Baird ran after Payne's taxicab screaming. Baird was screaming. Something about Payne and Mary, too.
So Payne was gone. I felt curious relief. Mary would check on me as ever that week, but said nothing. I could not tell if she was ashamed or angry. A week later, my hand was working so well that I could write spidery words. Everything I wrote looked like a ransom note, but it was wonderful to have communication once more. I felt high as a kite one afternoon. I kept laughing internally. I found my will in the top drawer and found myself crossing it all out. In my scrawl, I wrote Mary Oquendo, carer, under sole benefactor. I initialed it. I felt someone was with me as I wrote, but there was no sign of the girl. Just a yellow ribbon upon the floor. Frances joined me in the evening in my room.
Shall I read to you, perhaps? Put a tick for yes, a cross for no. No. Oh, very well. Then we'll talk, or I shall, and you can simply be.
Frances started to talk about nothing, but the words were a nice rhythm. And then I heard something. I looked out and saw her at the window. A dark-haired girl, 7 years old. She had just turned 7, in fact, in a gingham dress. She was breathing on the window and drawing the letter V in the condensation. As I wheeled myself towards the window, she looked at me, held my gaze.
Madeline, are you all right?
Veronica. Veronica looked at me and I at her. She put her hand up to the window. I put my hand to the glass against hers. She smiled.
Is something wrong? What are you looking at?
I leant my head towards the window. I wanted to lean my face against hers, but Veronica drew away from the glass and the distance between us grew greater. She sat in the cherry tree opposite, high up. The blossoms were out, pink, and still she stared at me.
Shall I call someone? Is it your arm?
I wanted to tell Francis, there is my child.
Madeleine, you're scaring me.
But I gave her away, because I had nothing. No husband, no home. I kept her for years, 7 years. Then I signed her away, when she was ill, because I was so scared. I was very young.
I'll get Nurse Baird. Or Mary.
Francis goes, and I keep staring at you.
Miss Howard, there is no one in the tree. You must calm down. Madeleine, look, you have let yourself become very casual. I will make you clean. Where is your hairbrush? Here we are.
And she picked up a yellow ribbon from the floor.
This, you see? You could wear it around your neck, Madeleine. Or in your hair, Madeleine.
She brushed my thin hair and put some oil upon it from her pocket.
There, Madeleine. Is there someone out in the tree now? In the pink blossom?
I stare out, and you smile at me from the tree. I open the window.
Who is it? Do you want to go to her? Don't spoil your hair.
You point to the space on the branch next to you. It would be so wonderful to be up so high with you. When I was your age, I climbed trees all the time. The higher the better. And I stayed alone at the top of them and watched the world. You nod. You like to go high too. I climb out of the wheelchair and onto the window ledge, and I fly to you. Pink blossom everywhere. I see the outline of my body on the concrete below, and I am free with you.
All things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all. Madeleine, Madeleine, free now, lady. Finish. Madeleine, gone.
In The Winter House by Rebecca Lenkiewicz, Madeleine was played by Annette Crosby, Mary by Claire Perkins, Frances by Christine Absalom, and Nurse Payne by Sarah Tom. The director was Mark Beebe.